That's Sam Smith there with Stay With Me. And this is fun. You are listening to The Keys, played by David Bentley. This weekend, the Marucci Jazz and Blues Collective are holding their inaugural Sunday Jazz and Blues event. It's a first for them, trying to bring a bit of that jazz spirit to a different patch of the coast that organiser Graham Buchanan says maybe isn't as well represented in the jazz scene. But I could go on, but I've got in the studio, twinkling away perhaps is a better way of saying it.
I don't know if that's a better way of saying
David Bentley. David,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about yourself and your history in music. I mean, have you always been a jazz musician? Did something come up that made you want to take it up?
Well, my father came up really, but he preceded me. We used to. He was a semi-professional saxophonist in Brisbane, and from a young age, I got to play with the best players in town. So that was it.
That's great.
And then I learnt that you're as good as the players you work with, and I've always tried to work with good players after that.
Which brings me to the DB3, the David Bentley 3. It's your trio.
The trio, yeah.
What do they bring to the ensemble?
It's bass and drums. They're just very good at what they do, and we've been together for a long time. Especially the bass player, about 25 years or something. The drummer's much younger than me, and much younger than Andrew as well, who was quite young when he started with me. So there's a wide, range of age, and I like the youthful energy that Nathan, the drummer, brings, and I like the professionalism that Andrew brings, and also he's got a lot of spark. And we're also working with another player at Graham's event in the person of Mark Spencer, who is a slightly reclusive tenor player from Caloundra now, but I think he's from Melbourne originally. Studied with the New York greats, George Coleman and Chris Potter, other people the listeners may not have heard of.
You mentioned you've got a young drummer, younger drummer.
Youngish.
Yeah, youngish drummer. let's not flatter him too much. He wasn't inspired at all by the movie Whiplash, which I think is quite a mainstream portrayal of jazz. I don't suppose you've seen it by any chance?
No, I haven't.
It tells the story of a young jazz drummer who's going through this insane ordeal with an incredibly strict jazz teacher who is just always on his case, and it's based around the tune Whiplash.
Mm-hmm.
Was it not like that for you growing up? Was it very relaxed? Sort of you just sort of were around the music, or did you have a strict?
I had a great time playing music when I was at school, even, and no, I didn't have any sense of rebellion. My father probably didn't like it as much when rhythm and blues happened, and I started playing in a blues band. But they were good jazz players as well. That was in Sydney.
How long have you been on the coast?
About 4 years.
Right. What's the scene like? What's the jazz scene like up here?
It's less than overwhelming. In fact, I mostly play in Brisbane. I mostly do the same gigs I did before.
Right. Is it a lack of opportunities?
It might be my lack of self-promotion. Which you're correcting for me now.
The Marucci Jazz and Blues Collective going to be holding their Sunday Jazz and Blues event this weekend, the 13th of January. You excited to play for semi-local audience for you?
No, I think that's great. I think it's a wonderful thing he's done, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication to pull all those threads together, and he's done a great job. Oh yes, we're looking forward to it very much. I've got a good band, and I think there'll probably be a good crowd there too. In fact, I know there will be. It's at 19 Ocean Street, isn't it? Is that the one?
Yeah, at the Old Soul Lounge.
Yeah, Old Soul,
Apparently
yeah.
from 1 p.m.
I kind of like the name too, Old Soul.
It sounds like a place you'd find a bit of jazz.
It should have jazz, yeah. I don't know if it always does, but with a name like that.
Well, I'm sort of torn. I want to find some time to play your tune here, but also I'm having a great time with this interview. I feel like is a speakeasy a jazz term? Is that a place where you sort of go and there's...
Speakeasy was a prohibition nightclub where when alcohol was forbidden in the United States, gangsters would serve hooch, and usually Dixieland bands would play. It would have been great fun. You didn't get in except they looked through a little keyhole in the door, and you had to give a password. You know, I think I'm making some of this up, Nick.
Well, did you want us to play a tune that you've brought in, or would you be happy to, sing us out, play us out, David?
I'd like you to hear something we did at Brisbane Jazz Club just a few weeks ago, because it expresses the band, and I'm happy to do a song, but I think it's me just the same, except with my rhythm section, and Mark's in there too, I think.
All right, David, thank you so much for coming in. We'll hear a bit more from you tomorrow, I think, a bit more music, but appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
Best of luck on the weekend.
Thank you.
Everyone I meet, give me a cheery hello. I guess I'm just a lucky so-and-so. The birds in every tree, also neighborly, they think wherever I go. I guess I'm just a lucky so-and-so. You could ask my dear in my bank account. I'd have to confess that I'm slipping, but that don't bother me, 'cause confidentially I've got a dream that's a pivot. And when the day is through, each night I hurry to a place where love waits, I know. I guess I'm just a lucky so-and-so.
A bit more from David Bentley there, who just joined us in the studio. If it's whet your appetite for a bit of jazz, you'll find David Bentley and his trio and some other musicians at the Old Soul Lounge Bar, January 13th from 1 p.m. That was a lot of fun, I've got to be honest with you. One of the more dynamic interviews I've had with David playing away there. We'll be back again tomorrow.